And welcome to the Movie Madhouse. I'm Rob.
I'm James.
I'm Jason.
And our special guest.
Michael Pereria.
There we go.
And his vast collection behind him.
Holy.
Yeah, he's got a movie or two, doesn't he?
A few. Yeah.
Dude, it's almost like you're in film or something.
Yeah. It looks like if I turn the camera around on my room. Except with
and
less
this is not even. This is probably about 70% of them. A little bit more.
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah.
The guy's got a collection.
Yeah.
I can remember
Respect.
way back in the day, like when my wife and I were first dating. We went to a house party, and the girl who was hosting, her parents had previously owned one of the video shops in town, Jumbo Video.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So their entire basement, every inch of wall space was VHS tapes.
Oh, wow.
Every
Wow,
inch
that's
of their
amazing.
basement wall space,
Nice.
except for where the laundry room, the laundry machines were.
They were propped up by VHS.
I don't recall that.
Yeah, that's kind of a lot.
That is.
Well, luckily he's the guy then to have for our topic today, which is the top 10 horror comedies.
This will be fun.
Which was a tough list. It was really, really hard to narrow it down to 10.
We were just mentioning that before the credits finished rolling. Like literally. All right. Well, let's just get right into it then. Michael, what's your number 10?
Number 10 is Peter Jackson's Dead Alive, aka Brain Dead. I'd have to say, like, for showmanship, I don't think it gets a whole lot better than Dead Alive. I mean, like, just if you're a gore hound, I mean, I can't imagine there's any horror movie that delivers as much as this movie. Just when you think it peaks, it just keeps going and going and going. And
Did that come up on one of our other podcasts?
If it did, it was another guest.
It's one I've never actually seen.
No,
I've always heard about.
What?
Peter Jackson is infamous for this movie. Yes.
I apologize. Know what it is? It was during a Sid podcast, during the Vicious Circle.
Oh.
Because he mentioned the movie Freaks. And someone said, I think only Dead Alive is equal or surpasses Freaks for freakiness. And now I'm about to get yelled at. I haven't seen either.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
But
it's Peter Jackson's.
Many times, I'm not a huge horror guy to begin with,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of stuff from back in the day that slipped by me because I wasn't drawn to horror.
But this guy is, so that's why he nailed this one.
In terms of Peter Jackson horror comedies, an honorable mention of mine is The Frighteners.
Really?
Yes.
Fantastic.
It's on my list.
It would have been.
I don't doubt
20.
it. Oh, so good.
Jason,
Yeah.
number 10.
My number 10 from 1986, Maximum Overdrive.
Oh my God, yes.
Horror comedy.
Come on, it's so ridiculous.
It's one of my. It is, but I mean, I don't think it's intentional. But I mean, Maximum Overdrive is a work of art. I love
I
it.
think that could be a whole separate sub list. Top 10 horror comedies that were never meant to be comedies.
That's true. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but I don't know.
House of the Dead.
That would definitely be on the list.
I know.
Yes.
Come on, it's Maximum Overdrive. It's a ridiculous concept.
Yes.
But it's still a fun watch. It's a little dated, but it still works, and the soundtrack is freaking awesome.
It can't be, ridiculous. It's a Stephen King story.
Yeah, and it's the only one that he ever directed himself, and they were
On coke.
really high on coke.
On coke. He has no recollection of the making of the film.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. I don't know if it's the trailer where he's standing in front of the truck with the headlights on and he's describing it. Like, it's just so weird.
Yeah, it's my Facebook profile. Actually.
James, number 10.
My number 10 is from 2015. It's a New Zealand horror comedy. It was the directorial debut of what's his name? Jason Lee Howden. He did that Guns Akimbo with Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
I love that.
Radcliffe.
Love that movie.
His directorial debut was a movie called Deathgasm.
Oh, I love that movie. I saw that one.
Right. awesome. Where he's in the bathroom and the like possessed guy comes into frame like this, saying like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. This guy's gonna ravage your soul, take over this. Then he moves out of this frame. He's like, comes back in. He's like, did I mention he's also gonna do this? No, well, he's gonna.
Deathgasm is like Evil Dead 2, but more metal.
Much more metal.
Much more metal.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Michael?
I have seen it. The gore's great. The gore's great.
I didn't realize that was the same guy who did Guns Akimbo. That makes me like it even more.
Neither did I. My friend Dalton was telling me about Guns Akimbo. He's like, you got to watch this. And I watched it and I picked it up in Walmart. And I'm like, just like, holy shit, this is the guy who did Deathgasm. How did I not know about this? Oh,
I only know about Deathgasm because I was talking to Sean from Raven Banner at one of the conventions, and he was showing me all these titles, and Deathgasm was one of them. And it's like, oh, I bought 5 titles that day, but I think that was 2 of the ones I didn't get. Was the one of them I didn't.
I only know about it because I was online one time and I just downloaded a bunch of horror movies, and that one seemed interesting. So this was probably about a year before it came out on Blu-ray, and it was this movie's hilarious. So it was just by chance.
Well, my number 10 knocks you all out of the park. 1978. The classic Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh, I've never seen any of those.
I've never seen it either.
I love that film. And it was, I guess, an honorable mention you'd throw on that is, oh my God, the
Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
No.
George Clooney epic.
I just had the name in my head and it just jumped out. It's a movie based on a guy that loves Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and he meets a girl and they adore it together.
Don't know.
Jordan's coming of age.
Idea.
Jordan coming home or something like that.
Never heard.
I'm gonna
of
look it up.
No?
But yeah,
Okay.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Like that is classic horror comedy right there.
I'm sure I watched it like as a kid. I probably watched it, but I don't hardly remember. I can remember a little bit of the song.
Attack
Does anyone
of
have
the
killer
Tomatoes.
Yeah. But
anyone have killer clowns on their list? I don't, because I don't
No.
recall a lot of the movie.
I
It
didn't
would have
include.
it would have been my top 20. It made the top 20. It just wouldn't have.
Okay.
I love the film, and it's held up really well. It's really fun. It's really good.
Nice.
And it's another one that there's rumor that they might try to do a sequel 30, 40 years later.
I did see that.
I don't know.
Yeah. Don't do
It
it.
didn't work for. It didn't work for I Spit in Your Grave when they made that sequel.
Yeah. So don't do it.
Which one?
Yeah.
For
Spit in
which
Your Grave.
one? Sorry.
I Spit in Your Grave.
Oh, no, the first one is the only real good one of that. The
Yeah.
remake.
And then,
I thought the
no,
remake.
but they actually made a sequel. There's an actual official sequel called
two
Spit in Your
sequels.
Grave Deja Vu. No,
Well,
sorry. But a legitimate sequel by the director.
Oh,
a couple
from the
of years ago.
original. Oh, okay.
But it's literally, I kid you not, it's a 2-hour and 30+ minute movie. Of like
Wow.
it's utterly insane. Like it's
That's unheard
It's
of
not
for a
good.
horror movie.
I've only seen
Yeah.
2 that were really good, that were that long. And that was It Chapter 2 and the theatrical version of Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, and while those are horror, those are more dramatic horror. Like
Not gore
Yeah,
fest.
right,
No.
right.
yeah. A rape
you're
revenge
talking
movie
Spit in
for
Your Grave,
2.5
you're talking
hours.
Trauma B level, like
Yeah.
that was a trauma
Yeah.
film, wasn't it?
No. But it
No?
was no.
Okay.
Just feels like it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump in then, Michael. Number 9.
Number 9, John Landis' American Werewolf in London.
Comedy?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
totally a
It's got
comedy.
some funny
Totally,
moments.
it is an absolute total. You know, it's so good because it pulls off the comedy just as well as it does the horror, and I think that it's one of the few horror movies I think that bridges that line of just being funny but also still being scary. Yeah, no, it's super funny. Watch it again. It's really, really funny, especially the Griffith Dunn's like his best friend.
Yeah.
Super funny.
Yeah, he's definitely more of the comic relief.
I'm
in
just
the
I'm
whole
just gonna
story.
edge further away from Jason because an honorable mention of mine is American Werewolf in Paris.
Oh,
You're safe on that one because I've never watched it.
it.
I
Shit,
think it's a
son.
way better movie.
Oh, now
Oh
you're
my
gonna
god!
have
Oh my
that
god!
fever.
I'm not even gonna get into that one. The CGI
Do you want me to
is
hit
just-
him for you?
That's why I'm
See-
moving further away. That's
Oh,
it.
shit.
Nearly made.
I
my
haven't
list.
seen it in ages. I just
No,
remember the CD being really bad when it came out. I can only imagine decades later how
I just pictured Jason with one of those big, huge foam hands. All of a sudden, comes out of nowhere. Boom!
This is where James is suddenly wishing we were still virtual. Jason, number 9.
My number 9 from 2014, Cooties.
Oh, I've heard of
Comedies. I've never seen it. I heard it's great.
Elijah Wood, Rainn
Dude.
Wilson.
No, cooties are serious. Okay, I almost caught him 3 times in high school, twice in public school. I'm just saying.
It sounded like an older movie because I automatically think of Critters, but
You all right?
I know I've heard of Cooties.
No, Cooties is hilarious, and it's always questionable when kids are involved in a horror story, right? But when the kids are the horror, it really changes the dynamic, and you don't quite feel so bad when these things are happening to these kids because they're freaking trying to eat people. They get mutated by contaminated chicken nuggets.
Oh my goodness!
It's a pretty fun ride. Very, very gory. Rainn Wilson is awesome because he tries to play like this badass, but he's not fully a badass.
No.
And Elijah Wood, well, Elijah Wood is Elijah Wood. Like,
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything different from other things you've seen, but it just works.
Elijah Wood can be a badass, especially if you've seen Sin City.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's that one. But Cooties, highly recommend. It's a lot of fun. If you want to see zombie kids, watch Cooties.
Who
It's on
doesn't?
my list for sure.
And I found the movie. It was driving me crazy. I thought it was Jordan something. Morgan Stewart's Coming Home.
Oh my! I've heard of that. Is that John Cryer or
John Cryer.
It is John
Yes.
Cryer. Okay.
Yep. And
Never
that's
heard
the
of
one. Redgrave plays his mom. And wasn't there
You
one other
just-
person?
Oh, you know what? I've never actually watched Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. That's where I know the song from.
Yeah, because they sing it in the theater, like in the line outside of the theater.
Yes. That's where I know the song. I've never actually seen Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Wow.
Well, glad we could drag
It's
it
like
back to my topic.
flashbacks to my childhood.
Nice.
James, number 9.
My number 9 is from 2017. It's a movie by Brian Taylor, one half of the guys who did the Crank movies.
Okay.
It is the Nicolas Cage opus called Mom and Dad.
I have not seen that.
It
I've
is
not seen it either. I've heard good things.
insane.
You know what? I did not include it because calling it a horror comedy was questionable in my mind because it is so intense.
It is, but it's also very over the top.
Yes.
Mostly because
Oh.
of Nicolas Cage, especially the very last line of the movie, where like you get no resolution to it. You don't know what caused it, and he's just like, "But sometimes we want to," and then it cuts to black.
It
Sounds like a
ins-
Nick Cage movie.
Oh,
Oh,
this is Cage at his cagiest.
it's
Oh,
More than Wicker Man?
Oh, more than Wicker Man.
Not
Yes.
the
Oh
bees.
shit. Sold.
Okay.
Sold.
He goes to town on his pool table, like just destroys it. It's just phenomenal. That just how crazy over the top. And Selma Blair plays his wife.
But this
And she
kind of
matches it.
like goes for our Spirit of Vengeance. The over the top Nick Cage. This was the perfect vessel for that.
Yes.
And just to throw it on top, I like the Nick Cage Wicker Man. Moving on.
I have no opinion there. I watched Wicker Man once. I only vaguely remember it.
No, the bees.
Everybody
Not the
knows that.
bees!
It's like a fever dream.
Yeah.
All right. My number 9 is a Bruce Campbell classic.
Oh, say it.
2002.
Say it.
Bubba Hotep.
Nice.
Number
Beautiful.
3.
Great choice.
The only reason it's not on my list at all is because it's been too long since I've watched it. I didn't know where I'd be able to place it. That's
You
the
know-
only reason.
Yeah.
See now, and if it weren't for the lockdown, I'm sure we would have done a view and review.
Yeah. We were getting ready to.
Yeah.
Where else can you see Elvis and JFK, a black JFK, fight a mummy in an old age home? Right?
Oh man.
Such an insane concept.
This is the movie we never knew we wanted.
Yep, that's right.
It definitely would have been on my list, but had I known where I could place it. But because it's been too long, it's not fresh enough in my mind. I know I liked it. I know it's a lot of fun.
And that's the other thing with my list. I always go by watchability. Like, how many of these do I rewatch on a regular basis?
Yeah.
And all of them.
Bubba Hotep is an occasional watch. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Number 8, Michael.
Number 8, I'm going to really age myself here. 1974's Mel Brooks, Young Frankenstein.
Dude, that's my number 7.
That movie just brings me endless pleasure. It just never ceases to not be enjoyable to watch. And still, the blind man sequence, still like, I'm still in tears by the end of that scene.
I was lucky enough, like a week or two after Gene Wilder passed, the Highland Cinema in London for their Retromania had a screening of Young Frankenstein. So we got to see it on the big screen again. Such a great way to watch that film.
Yeah. Still haven't seen that since I was a kid, but it's still still somewhat fresh in my mind.
There is just so much, Marty Feldman talking about a guy named Abby someone.
No, the hump that keeps moving.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's the climate. Put on the Ritz! When Frankenstein's singing "Putting on the Ritz," but he can't speak.
That's right. Okay.
Put on the Ritz!
Yep. Peter Boyle.
Even the musical was a lot of fun. I ended up seeing it when they came to Toronto.
Want to see the musical?
It's really great.
Yep.
Interesting.
I am one of those that didn't know there was a musical either.
I heard about it like 2 years ago, but I have not seen anything from it.
There's Nick watching it tonight. Are you watching Young Frankenstein? Because I just noticed when you posted this. Or is this Bubba Hotep you're talking about, Nick? Gotta let me know.
Both. I have the Young and Frankenstein DVD. I found
double header. That's what it's got to be.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, number 8.
My number 8 from 1990, the Kevin Bacon classic, Tremors.
Great choice.
The one that started that franchise. That's what, 50 movies long now or something. Like, it doesn't end.
See, that was the one too. I watch it a lot, but I don't know if I laugh at it where I'm supposed to, or if they meant to be much more serious, and I just laugh at it. So I wasn't sure which list.
Kevin Bacon has most of the laughs in that movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
but
Fred Ward's definitely the straight man.
He's badass. Fred Ward's so badass. Yeah. Burt Gummer, man. Burt Gummer.
Oh.
Well, at least that franchise keeps Michael Gross working.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Since Family Ties went under,
it's just such a fun ride.
It's a
So
blast.
silly. But then when you have Michael Gross and Reba McEntire,
yes,
and you see their arsenal,
oh man,
like holy cow.
Yeah.
And this is like before the whole idea of crazy rednecks, barricading themselves and whatnot was really a thing.
See, Michael Gross is ahead of his time.
Absolutely.
That's right. All right, James, number 8.
Number 8. Mine is from 2015. It is Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
On movie?
I think it still has still one of the best openings. Has I can't remember his name, but the long curly hair guy from Workaholics. And the movie basically opens up with that Black Widow song from that Australian rapper chick.
Alice Cooper?
No.
Alice Cooper's an Australian rapper?
I don't know. They got Alice Springs over there, so why not?
What the hell is it?
What is wrong with you tonight?
This isn't water.
Iggy Azalea.
Yeah, that smells like vodka, dude. What are you doing over there?
That one.
Oh.
It opens with that one, but it zooms in on the guy just doing the little claps by his hand.
Oh, okay.
And he's dancing. He's the janitor in like a scientific facility, and he's dancing all around. And then the music keeps going, but there's a scientist working on a zombified body. It's basically what kicks off the entire movie.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's so funny.
There's Nick. Yep, Young Frankenstein. Good man.
Nice pull. Yep.
Good man. That is a
You
good
can never go wrong with that.
No.
Yeah, but it's Christopher Landon, who he did Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. He also did
Happy Death Day
Oh,
1 and 2.
He did one of the Paranormal
And
Activity
Freaky.
movies, but he also did
What's
the
that?
latest. Sorry.
Happy Death Day 1 and 2 and Freaky.
Yeah.
Just
So
recently,
he's got a good
are all
horror
good.
comedy streak going,
Yes.
Nice.
with the exception of Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, Happy Death Day, the first one's on my honorable mentions.
It very nearly missed my list. Yeah.
My number 8 is 2011, and I'm trying to do a build up, but I got nothing. So I'm just gonna say Cabin in the Woods. I love how that movie flips everything on its head, but it still
Yeah.
stays very true to every horror
Bradley Whitford.
rule.
And again, that's one where I want to put it on the list, but I feel it's more a serious horror.
Oh,
It's got some silliness and it changes the concept,
It's so meta,
but
though.
it's not a comedy to me.
that's just it. It's so meta. It's making fun of itself.
especially
and that's-
especially
yeah.
when he finally realizes he's going to get killed by the creature he wants to see, the merman. He's just like, oh, come on.
Yep.
It
There's-
almost made it.
There's Ballin. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, I do love that movie, and
yeah.
the argument I can completely I understand why you would put it there. Just for me, I couldn't justify it. I think of it as more of a serious
Well,
horror beyond the comedy.
that's like me
so-
with Michael and American Werewolf in London. To me, that's more
Yeah,
of a.
it's-
You're
yeah.
right. There is comedic edge,
Yeah.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
horror movie to end all horror movies.
literally, because it's the end of the world.
I
at the end.
know.
Yeah, that's why I hate the ending, because I want more of that world.
Hard to do a sequel, but they
yeah.
did it with Highlander, so why not, right? There can be only one until more aliens come.
Shush.
Number 7, Michael, what do you got?
Number 7, 1987, Joel Schumacher's Lost Boys. Definitely one of the most impactful movies for me as a kid, and just to this day, it's still. I think a lot of my writing, you can see a lot of that coming from that movie. Yeah, it's the perfect, and it's a good. Also, it does the scares well, but it's also really really funny as well. So,
See, that's just
like
it. I
American
never-
Werewolf, it teeters.
I never ever thought of that as a comedy.
Yeah, me too.
But you're
That's- I get
100% right.
Yes.
Anything with the Frog Brothers, Corey Haim.
I considered it, but I've had it on so many lists, I didn't want to repeat myself.
Yeah,
It
Movies
is-
I
it's
just want
such
to
a great
mention.
movie.
Lost Boys.
It is just such a great movie.
It is.
You know,
Yes.
it transcends so many subgenres, you know, and so many different facets of the horror world. But even beyond that, it's just a good movie.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so good.
You know,
It's
One
got some of the best lines.
Soundtrack.
Death by stereo. You know, it's got great lines.
I'm
and
gonna
great
tell Will, we're
wardrobe,
gonna be in
great
trouble.
wardrobe, fantastic
Mhm.
wardrobe.
Oh, big time. Oh, and Grandpa, you know, I'm not going to say we're the murder capital, but if all the dead were to suddenly stand up, we'd have a population problem. You know,
I just had a meme go by on my Facebook just like a few days ago that said nobody anywhere ever. You know what this movie needs? And it's the saxophone player.
Yep.
Yes.
I was working literally, and this is what I do. I call car dealerships, right? And I said, I want to talk to your service manager. They put me on hold. It was I Still Believe.
No.
It was.
Tim Capello.
And I thought, wow,
Wow.
I like this dealership. Jason, number 7.
My number 7 from 2017, Mayhem.
Oh, that was on my
choice,
list a couple times yesterday.
I haven't seen it yet.
Fun.
Oh,
It's a lot of fun.
love how batshit insane it gets.
In terms of a corporate movie where everyone loses their minds, I thought it was way better.
Is that a
than-
genre?
Well, it's a genre of two.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Belko.
one and the Belko experiment. I thought
Belko was
Mayhem
they're forced to do it. Mayhem, they're just infected.
yeah,
They want
Yeah,
to do
I
it
agree.
because they're infected. That's
Yeah.
the main difference between them.
and it's so much more fun.
It is.
Yeah.
And you got Samara Weaving working with
Steven
Steven
Yeun.
Yeun, and it just
Glenn.
oh,
Yeah,
yes,
I'll always
just
be Glenn.
so insane and violent. Like, oh my god, the violence.
I do want to see it, and I'm sad I have not seen it.
I feel like whoever wrote it They were literally sitting in like an office cubicle going, I could kill somebody with that stapler and that ruler and just looking at everything in the office.
You know it's a
figuring
therapy
out
session.
we're gonna figure out how to kill somebody with that.
It's a therapy session. You know it. Even Ballin said Stephen Yun was the man.
Yeah.
Man. All right, James, you got to top it. Number 7.
Number 7. I don't know if I'll top it, but I do like this movie more. From 2009, and by far the best thing, in my opinion, that Diablo Cody's ever written. Jennifer's Body.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Never watched that.
What's that, Michael?
Yeah, it's a good film.
I thought it was so funny. Another one with an amazing soundtrack, but just, oh my god! And I know.
Is that the breakout for Megan Fox?
Yeah, Megan Fox.
Okay.
Yeah, Megan Fox.
It was the one after Transformers.
Chris Pratt's in there somewhere. J.K. Simmons is in there because this was a follow-up to Juno. And
see, though, this one I thought was one of those ones that was meant to be scary, but we just laughed anyway.
It has an
No,
edge.
I think it's quite funny as well. I think it's always meant to be a horror comedy. It
On
was
purpose?
advertised.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
everyone has said. I think it's TIFF.
They've got
It was always
very
marketed as a
funny
horror comedy.
lines in the movie. You wouldn't throw those in if you weren't trying to get laughs.
Okay. I just that's the way I remember it, and I don't know. Oh, Greg says, "Hey guys," and James.
Hey, Greg.
All right. Well, my number 7, we all know, Young Frankenstein. So that means we get to go to number 6, Michael.
I'm gonna go even further back here. Probably my gateway horror movie, 1948. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Oh yes.
Oh, wow.
That movie just still does it for me, even at this age. Like it's still fun. Like my kids still really enjoy it. So it's it was so cool that it combined all these great iconic monsters in one movie, and I think it still plays them fairly straight face. It doesn't turn them into a mockery. So I think it really handles the horror comedy kind of really, really well. So
I forgot all about that one.
I'll admit, I've never watched it.
I know I've seen one of those.
Oh, I've seen it a couple times, but
What?
it's not on my rewatch list, so maybe that's why it
Yeah.
didn't hit my list.
Ah.
See, growing up, I avoided a lot of the old stuff. If it was black and white, I wasn't going to be interested. It wasn't until, really since I started this podcast that I've really gone back to watch the classics. And I've not gotten to anything of Abbott and Costello or anything like that.
Oh,
it's the best, and it's got amazing rewatch. I mean, I think I've seen it at least 200 times, at least. I don't know, yeah, at least a couple times a year.
oh, Ballin
Please.
said it's Young Frankenstein. That was my pick for 6 or 7. Yeah, actually, we can segue because it's also Jason's pick for number
Yes.
6.
Frankenstein.
Yes, Frankenstein Igor. Man, I love that movie. James, number 6.
Okay, number 6 is from 1992, and this is the movie that my buddy and we went to see Candyman, but we weren't 18 yet, so we couldn't get in. So we settled for Dr. Giggles.
Okay.
And this movie's a blast. Larry Drake is Dr.
It's a lot of fun.
Giggles. This movie's, and they have so many doctor jokes in there, just intentional cracks he makes about doctors. Like he goes and he finds his golf clubs and he's just cracking people over the head, and just he seems to throw out a doctor related quip right before he kills someone.
Well, yeah.
Well, that was the era. That was all about that cheesy one-liner for the kill,
Yep.
The only thing I can remember, the only one thing I vaguely, or not even vaguely, vividly remember is the liposuction thing where he sticks it into the lady, and when he pushed a button, a little razor blade thing would spiral out.
He does it to pump her stomach, to get all the ice cream out. And then all of a sudden you see blood pouring out of it.
Pushes a button, and
I'm
this
glad I
blade
forget parts of this film.
That's the only thing. For some reason, that one stuck with me.
Dr. Giggles. There you go. Write that down and watch it, I guess. My number 6 from 2013. And this one I have on endless loop, but it's weird. I love this film, but also if I'm tired, it's one that I'll fall asleep to. Go figure. Massive cast: Seth Rogen, Jay Baruchel, James Franco.
Okay, I know.
This is the end.
Yeah. Would you call that a horror movie though?
Well, Michael
argument
Cera
could be
gets
made.
stabbed with a light post.
End of the world.
The argument can
alright.
be made
Yeah, that's a little bit gore.
a little bit.
You know,
It's more comedy
Michael
than
Cera
horror, but
smacking Rihanna's ass. This is a horror film, okay? But nothing's
I've only
better
seen
than
bits
Emma
and
Watson.
pieces.
What's that?
I haven't actually watched the whole thing. I've just seen bits and pieces. They're all great, and I own it, and I've never actually watched it.
You have to watch it. Emma
I think
Watson.
after this, I have to. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll watch it this week.
she threatens everybody with an axe at one point, and she hits a piece of art that's very intimidating. I'll leave it at that for you. You got to watch.
Hit him with the trademark.
Give it a good, honest watch.
Ding.
That's
Yeah,
our
and
thing.
I love all those guys. I don't know why I haven't seen it. I think I've seen so much clips on YouTube, and they're great. Like the Sarah stuff is amazing. Yeah.
You feel like you've watched it already.
Probably most of it just in pieces.
It's just the little cameos that are cool, like Oscar Isaacs and Paul Rudd and
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum. That's another great one. It's so much fun that way. So there you go. It's a challenge. Give it a good, honest watch. But now we'll go to number 5. Michael, what's your number 5?
Number 5, 1985, Fright Night.
Oh,
Nice.
I don't think you can add probably one of the best marriages of horror and comedy. I mean, like it's iconic, it's classic, and even the remake is pretty decent too. I mean, it's just got a great story that just kind of just works if you stick to the template. Perfect. It's every bit as fun now as it was when it first came out. So Friday Night, perfection.
Nice.
That definitely would have been in my honorable mentions because yes, I do love that film. It's not on my rewatch list, but you're right.
Oh.
It's so much fun to watch.
I had Cabin in the Woods on my honorable mentions.
There you go.
Duh.
He's ripping me.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. Fright Night, very good. And the sequel, not sequel, but you're right. The remake wasn't that bad.
It's on my honorable mentions.
I've never checked.
You know,
I've never
Sequel's
watched-
not bad either. Sequel is not bad either.
It's hard to put that lightning in a bottle again, but they were close. They had it in a glass. It was a red Solo cup, but they got it. Jason, number 5.
Number 5, and this might get a little bit of flack. 1984's Ghostbusters.
Really?
What's wrong with that? It's totally a horror comedy. It's my number 2.
I know, but some people would argue it should be higher. It's it's an iconic film.
Well,
But-
it depends on what you've picked in front of it. That's
Well,
now I'm going to be
that's
judged
where it
every
might
single
get
pick from this
questionable.
point on.
Dude, it's my number 5.
Yeah. Nice. All right. I don't feel so bad then.
Michael, where is it on your list?
Number 2.
See?
Oh, so okay, yeah.
Yeah. See? Is it on your list?
No.
Did you really think it would be on his list? It's a good film.
You're right. Yeah.
Oh.
Right?
Yep. You're right. What was I thinking?
Right? Let's find out what James's number 5 is.
My number 5 is a movie that scared the hell out of me as a kid, and then years later, I brought it home when I was working at Rogers and laughed my ass off. It's from 1986, House.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Great.
about
Oh my god, I missed it. Shit, that might have
Damn it, I'm back from the grave and I forgot ammo.
Shit.
There's nothing better
Definitely
than that.
honorable mention.
The
House is
hand.
perfect.
Yes. The hand running
And
around
the
the
sequel,
house.
and the sequel's great too. The sequel's wonderful too.
Oh my god.
It is. I can't find it anywhere.
House 4.
It's available. It's available.
If I ever talk to people outside of the film industry about continuity, I always reference House 4 because they have the best shot. They show these people going up to this house, and I remember it like it was yesterday. And the house has these big pillars. It's like a 2-story, entrance, big oak door. And they walk in, and when it cuts to the inside, they close the door, and the curtain on the door moves because there's now suddenly a window. It's like, wait a minute. That is like the biggest continuity gaffe I think I've ever seen in a film, but it's still fun to watch.
I've only seen the first 2, but I know that there's 3 and 4 somewhere.
I honestly
Yeah.
didn't know there was 3 and 4.
Oh yeah.
There's even Arrow released a box set a couple years ago. I don't know if it's still in print, but I have it there somewhere there.
It's one of those things with the thing. Yeah, right up there. I can see it from here.
But the House 1 and 2 are great.
Okay, Mike, 1 second. Behind you on the wall up top, is that a mask from Your Next?
That is from the premiere.
Yes. There's my thumbs up. There we go. Awesome.
And I will,
Which is a great
I will
horror
credit-
comedy too. Which is, I'd
Yeah.
argue, it's a horror comedy as well.
see, and that's one I reference when I tell people to make sure you like it by watching a movie twice.
Yeah.
Because I watched it the first time, I hated that film. And I had so many people, I'm talking to them and they're going, "Oh, it's great." It's like, are you kidding me? And so I finally watched it a second time and I loved it.
People are split on it.
It was the frame
Even
of
at-
mind I was in.
Yeah, and I missed it for this list. I just,
Well, we know my number 5 is Ghostbusters. Yeah, there's not a lot that can be said about Ghostbusters
No.
because everything has been said on
Right.
that one.
I think
Yeah,
I
perfect.
lumped it
Oh.
too much in with comedies and not with horror.
Ballin said, "Is Arachnophobia a horror comedy?"
Absolutely.
Absolutely, and a good one, and a good one. too.
No, I would disagree. Just because I remember seeing the trailer and that movie looked so much fun, and I watched the movie, I'm like, there's really nothing funny about this movie. This movie's
It's-
creepy.
It's on my honorable mention because it's
I don't remember any.
Goodman's really funny in it. Goodman's great in it.
Oh,
John Goodman is amazing.
Yeah, I
yes.
thought he was great in the movie, but I'm like, I don't remember the funny parts. The way they integrated them into the movie didn't seem as funny as they did in the trailer.
it is definitely a lot more
It's dark.
horror and dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is enough comedy element in there.
It
to
was
definitely
it
put
was
there.
written as a comedy. So
Okay, I've been
it's-
meaning to. I loved it the first time I saw it. I haven't watched it the second time. I just didn't think it was funny.
watch it a second time. I swear you'll see it in a different light.
All right.
I think that might be one of the first true dark comedies that I ever watched.
Oh, mine was Heather's.
See, I didn't
That
watch that
might
until
be-
much later.
That might be me as well. In terms of black comedies, yeah.
All right, Michael, number 4.
Number 4, 1985, Stuart Gordon, Reanimator, which might be another film that does like horror and comedy equally well. Yeah, it's super funny, super bonkers, and like that third act, just the effects, hard to top. One of the best third acts
Yeah.
ever in a horror movie.
I think that would be near the top on a list on a movie that they didn't mean to be funny. I think.
It was totally meant to be funny. Stuart
Yeah.
Gordon always aims for humor. Always.
Because
There's
there's
never a
another
movie
one that
visited
kind of
that's never
creeped me
comedy.
out as a kid.
There was
It-
a
it-
whole bunch that came out at
It
that
does-
period.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say it does that really well. It's much like American Werewolf, it does horror and comedy really well. That sometimes you kind of wonder which genre does it really land on.
Yeah.
But there were some other ones that came out that almost that year or the year after. There was Frankenhooker and Frankenweenie. That was by Tim Burton. But Frankenhooker, I can't. Was that Henenlotter that did Frankenhooker?
Yes.
Yes. And those had the same feel. You know, oh my God, there's so much.
That's the era where I wasn't watching horror. So not.
And you missed a lot.
Yes, I'd have.
Jason, number 4.
Number 4 from 2009, Zombieland.
Ah, yes.
Like
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
it really it took what Shaun of the Dead had given us, but then really cranked it up. You know, and Woody Harrelson just crushed that role. And the sequel isn't horrible. Like,
no.
the sequel.
I actually like the sequel more than the first.
really.
I put
Just
it on par.
just for the dumb blonde who stole that movie from everybody. She is brilliant in everything. Which is like found out afterwards. It's Leah Thompson's daughter. Which when you look at it, it's oh my God, it looks exactly like her.
Yeah.
What? It is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Zoe
yeah.
Deutsch.
Watch it again.
Leah
And
Thompson
picture her.
married Howard Deutsch. Directed a lot of the
No.
John Hughes movies.
She's not old enough to have children I'm watching in films now.
Dude,
Son
we're old.
of a bitch.
We're
All
old.
right.
Plus, in that movie, you get more Bill Murray.
A little bit more Bill Murray. We get Rosario Dawson.
Yes.
Luke
And I like-
Wilson.
I like the copies. Yeah, Luke Wilson and his buddy against Jesse Eisenberg. and her-
Thomas Middleditch is the
Yeah.
the
There
other
we go.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so good.
It is a lot of fun, but you know the first one still takes that slight lead. It's a very
Well,
close race.
I think it does have that edge
wouldn't
only
argue.
because it was new.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
a sequel will never have the same bang the original did.
Mhm.
No, it's more of the same. It's just more of the same. It's no
Yeah.
different.
Which totally worked in this case.
James, number 4.
Number 4. My number 4 is from 2018. It is the only Eli Roth movie that you could remotely show to the younger generation. Is The House with a Clock on Its Walls.
I've not seen that.
I've never watched it.
It is so much
It's good.
fun. And it
It's
was the
good.
one where
It's good. It's a
like,
solid one.
Goosebumps almost made my list.
Right.
And then Goosebumps 2 didn't feature Jack Black that much because he was making this movie.
Okay.
So he's only sprinkled in Goosebumps 2 a little bit. But this movie, I was skeptical because it's Eli Roth making essentially a kid's movie, but it's so much fun. Just the back and forth between Jack Black and Kate Blanchett is awesome. And the little kid does a great job too.
Tom McLaughlin's really great in that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I might have to watch that. I did see the trailers and it looked interesting, but
Yeah, it's been on my radar, and it's the type of movie that if I can get my wife to watch it, I'm sure she'll probably like it. But just getting my wife to watch anything is difficult. So and it is one that I think I want to watch with her. So I hold out. I deprive myself of watching certain films because I want to have that shared experience. But my wife doesn't believe in the same thing. Like, she doesn't get the concept of having a shared experience while watching a film. So, especially watching it for the first time,
Yeah.
but that's just me lamenting about my sad life.
we have to let him do that every once in
I'm
a while,
lonely.
Michael. We just nod. All right, my number 4. And I have now copied it because I'm pretty sure it might appear somebody else's list. 1992, the iconic Army of Darkness.
I considered
Fantastic.
on my list. It nearly made it.
Yeah, nearly, which means it didn't.
Army of Darkness is pure comedy.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, it's not in my list at
What?
all. I mean,
Michael,
It's my, believe it or not, it made my honorable mentions list. And even I'm surprised because it was such an impactful movie for me. Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, like, it's hard. Again, it was hard to bring it down to 10, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
okay, fair
Sacrifices had to be made.
Fair enough. I
It is
understand that.
a great movie. It's perfect. It's perfect in every way. I mean, it was. I always I'm always kind of battling which one I like more, that or Evil Dead 2. But Army of Darkness had a bigger impact when I was younger. But because it was the first
which did you
R-rated
see first?
movie. It was the first R-rated movie I saw theatrically. Which a lot of people still
There
don't
you
believe that was an R-rated movie when it came out in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
Yeah,
crazy when you look at it. It's so tame.
Yeah, if you think about it now, absolutely. Okay, well, I'm sad. I'm going to go to number 3. Michael.
Number 3, 1986, Tobe Hooper, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Another film that does horror and comedy really, really well. It's bonkers. It's crazy. It's like a funhouse ride. I fucking love that movie, and I can watch it every year of my life, and it still brings endless pleasure for me. And it's one of those sequels that completely goes away from the tone of the first movie and completely stands on its own 2 feet. Yeah, fantastic movie.
I've never seen it. I've watched the original, and that's
What?
it.
It's a
I've
different
never
experience. It's a
I've
very
never seen
different
any
experience.
of the sequels.
I saw the original, and it's whatever. I never saw the second or the third one, and I've seen the remakes and the distant sequels, like the Next Generation with Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. That is
Which is a lot of fun.
they're really
It's
bad.
bad, but it's bonkers. But it's so much fun. His performance alone is worth the view.
That's the interesting thing, is to look at film too, and then be able to pull a performance out of a crappy movie. You know, say, okay, I hated
Well,
the film, but that guy,
McConaughey was kind of cranking it up to 11 in that movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was caging it.
Beyond 11. Beyond
Caging
11.
Yes.
How quickly was that after Dazed and Confused?
Oh.
Because Dazed and Confused is his first role.
Oh.
I'm not sure.
Maybe
Good question.
maybe he was filming it while Dazed and Confused was being edited, so he didn't realize that he'd be big and didn't have to do it.
I don't.
Well,
maybe.
I know they tried to block its release for ages.
1995.
They tried to
Him and
block
Renee
it?
Zellweger. Renee Zellweger,
1995.
yeah.
So
Apparently, their agents were really
3 years
trying to
after
hide that
Dazed and
film.
Confused came out.
Once they
Yeah.
realized,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, no,
Dazed was 92, I think.
Yeah.
take her name
And
out
that
of
film
it.
was shot. I believe that film was shot. I think a few years even before it released as well. So I'm not sure. It could have been around the same time he did Dazed and Confused.
Yeah. What I'm finding most interesting, he thinks we didn't catch it, but it's the fact that he
Yeah.
said he watched the original and it's whatever.
it's
Yeah.
awful. I was
That
going to
was-
say awful, but I figured I'd say whatever and move on.
This is
I-
what we have to deal with.
I think it's awful.
I think I had a technical glitch when you said that because I would have totally reacted like, what?
I will say the opening is pretty impressive when it's in the cemetery or something
a
like
bit.
that.
Just
And then
a
the movie
bit, just a
just
bit.
drops off a cliff from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say nothing. It's like, for me, the most important horror movie that I've ever seen. Like, the most impactful. It's like, but
So basically,
Teach
you've
their own,
reached
teach their own.
inside Michael. You've pulled all of his stuff out and thrown it on the ground and stomped on it.
Whether
That
it's
list is
important or not,
completely-
it doesn't make it a good movie.
We may need to
Oh.
consider taking applications for third chair.
Right?
This is what I have to deal with, Mike.
What you have to deal with.
Oh, what?
No one's allowed to express their opinion.
Third chair's available. Taste required. All right, Jason, number 3.
My number 3 from 2014, because I had to find a way to squeeze Kevin in here somewhere.
Oh,
Tusk.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say Yoga Hosers because
No.
it's more on the funny side.
Yes, but Tusk
No,
is just
fuck no.
it has a lot some
No,
funny
Tusk?
moments.
no,
Oh,
no.
I'm
Uh-oh. What?
sorry.
No
what?
yoga hosers ever. No yoga hosers ever.
I can't
If we're
disagree.
doing the worst. If we're doing top worst horror comedies ever, if we're doing top 10 worst horror comedies. It's top 5, hands down. But Tusk is great. Very underrated.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything about Yoga Hosers. I no, but Tusk, I love that movie.
Tusk is disturbing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's such a
I'm gonna
ridiculous.
step back for 1 second because I got a Tusk thing for you. Keep going.
Oh.
I remember I tweeted at Kevin about saying I thought Tusk was a far more disturbing movie than The Human Centipede, and I got another one favorited from him, and it gave me a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling.
Nice.
My first screening of Tusk was London.
Oh, nice!
Where did
Okay,
you
so
get
from the premiere. From the premiere.
Oh, I thought it looks like something you'd get in a Happy Meal. That's cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah, no, you fold it. Yeah, you fold it, and it has like
the
Tusk in the
Tusk
back.
Happy Meal? That's exactly where it came from.
Up at the movie
Incredible.
pop-up restaurants.
In Hamilton, yeah. There's one in Hamilton right now, and it's
Oh.
number 1 on Skip the Dishes up there.
See,
Of course it is.
you have to understand. Jason loves Yoga Hosers like I love Random Hearts because Harrison Ford's in it and can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a good movie.
Random Hearts
Yeah,
sucks
we all have
so
our guilty pleasures.
through a
No, it
straw.
doesn't.
Oh my God, does it ever? But I still love it because Harrison Ford is in it. So I get it.
I love everything Kevin Smith. Yeah, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I love the man. I am obsessed with the man. He is my spirit animal, my man crush.
Do you genuinely like Cop
Cop
Out, or is it enhanced by the story behind it?
Out. The story behind it does add to it, but I do enjoy Cop Out.
I mean,
it
I
has
don't
some
think
really funny.
I don't think it's a
moments.
bad movie. I like the slow motion funny parts with the next door neighbor
Yep.
kind of thing, and Sean William Scott.
Yeah, like I do genuinely like it. It's not even in my top,
No.
not even maybe top 10 for Kevin.
No, of
like,
course not.
It's at near the bottom of the list, but even then, I still love it.
See.
And
It's got Tusk horror.
Tusk is near the top of my list of all Kevin films. Like it's
Tusk
in my
is
top
good.
5 for sure.
Ballsy.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it came from a podcast.
Yes.
I see a new list coming up soon.
Oh.
You-
what would
no.
that be?
No,
What?
Pick your favorite child.
no,
We will make you.
Oh.
No,
Nice.
can't do it. James, we know your number 3 is Bubba Hotep.
Yes.
My number 3, we've mentioned it already, but is 1996's The Frighteners.
Nice.
Michael J.
That's
Fox
okay.
and the way they set that up, like he's a con man, is just brilliant. And the people that they chose, like John Aston and
Arlie Ermey.
Arlie Ermey, yes,
Yeah.
as the drill sergeant in the cemetery.
Jake
Yeah.
Busey's the
Yes, the
Yes.
killer. Like
Oh my goodness.
it is just a fun film.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones that isn't going to win Oscars, but you will enjoy watching every single
a
time.
movie where I still have yet to make it through the entire documentary because it's like 4 hours long.
Lord of the Rings.
It's one of those kind of documentaries. It's just for one movie though. It's 4 hours.
Shh.
It's
Were
a
you gonna say,
great
Mike?
doc. It's incredible. I was going to say, not many people know, but it was supposed to be a Tales from the Crypt movie.
Oh yeah.
really.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
When they originally had pitched it, it was supposed to be because Robert Zemeckis, I believe, and I know he's the producer, but he may have come up with the story. I could be wrong on that.
Too good,
but I know it was. Yeah,
there's too much to be in a short.
It was my first experience with Peter Jackson, I believe. Was that before or after Heavenly Creatures?
That's after.
That was right after Heavenly Creatures.
After? Okay, it was my second experience with Peter Jackson, but my first good experience with Peter Jackson.
All right.
What?
Number 2.
Number 2, Ghostbusters. So
yeah, we
nothing
got
else to be said about that movie. Yeah.
Jason, number 2.
I mentioned it in reference to another film, 2004's Shaun of the Dead.
There we go.
It just seemed too good to put on the list.
Well, I've seen your list. I agree.
But Shaun of the Dead, Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz are such a great back to back.
Oh yeah,
because they tongue in cheek reference, like Hot Fuzz references Shaun of the Dead a little bit, a little wink, but Shaun of the Dead is just so perfectly done. With every single aspect of it, that just right down to they're not giving up their friendship in the end. He just can't give up his friend, and everything always comes down to let's go to the pub.
That's right.
wait till it all blows over. Yeah,
that's an awesome film. James, number 2.
My number 2 is from 2015, and it's appropriate to this time of year almost. It is Krampus.
Oh,
I never got around to watching that.
Good flick.
Trick or Treat is as one of the ultimate Halloween horror movies. This is an ultimate Christmas horror movie. It is so good. It is so funny, and it is so twisted.
Yeah,
especially towards the end. But you've got like one of the what's his name? Always a funny guy in the movies, and of course they don't. David Koechner.
Okay, yeah.
He's a big highlight reel of comedy in this movie.
Have you seen it?
Myself, yeah, I have. It's really good. It's really fun.
Yeah, I've not seen it.
It's hard to make my list just because it definitely is a wannabe Gremlins. It's definitely kind of teetering in that same kind of like sandbox, but it's really well made. Krampus looks fantastic. It's I don't know if it works as much as a comedy as it is as a horror movie, because I think it's a better horror movie than it is a comedy.
There's the lines in there, like when you get like the gingerbread men coming to life trying to attack him, and the one lady's saying like, "I'm old enough to know when life's coming at me with its pants down." It's just great lines.
Okay,
yeah, it's really entertaining. It's definitely worth checking out.
I now have to watch this.
I'll move it up. I'll move it up my list to on my to watch list.
Well, my number 2, and I'm surprised it hasn't been on here with someone already. 1988, Michael Keaton classic, Beetlejuice.
Honorable mention on my list.
It wasn't on the lists of movies that I looked at.
I put it as a comedy. That's not a horror to me.
It's a horror.
I get
comedy.
that, with the death and the ghost and idea, but I can see. But that to me is just too family friendly.
It's a very family friendly. I get
to be considered a horror comedy.
Yeah, I can't argue.
So
that.
that's why it's not on my list.
Well, let's check out number 1.
Horror. I think, yeah.
Well, it has horror elements.
Yeah.
You got a guy that's run over, hanging from spikes, flying through, and
there's some great death makeup effects in that one. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. It's very family friendly death.
Yes.
Michael, number 1.
Number 1, no brainer for me. Return of the Living Dead. It's a masterpiece. The greatest horror comedy ever made. And to me, there's no argument here. Like it's just so effective at what it does. And again, being scary, being funny. It's super clever, super sharp, and it still feels like ahead of the curve. Like the punk rock soundtrack and like, there's nothing quite like it. Yeah, there's nothing else to say about that movie. It's perfect in my opinion.
That would have been my number 11, but that's again just based on what I rewatch. I do watch it a lot, but it's so much fun. Oh, it is.
Yeah, I can't disagree. It's just it just hasn't held me. you know. But then again, it came out in the era where I didn't really watch. In fact, my cousins tormented me as a child with that film. My cousins, I was at my aunt and uncle's house, and my cousins were babysitting, as if you want to call it that, and they were listening or watching it with the volume cranked up, and I'm upstairs and I could hear all the screams and everything. I was just getting
more
freaked out.
cops.
They kept rewinding that bit, and they're cackling, laughing for like 20 minutes. They just kept rewinding and watching that bit again.
I love how they made zombies talk. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Even big words. Send more paramedics. You know, I thought that was awesome that they got that word out. Jason,
I'm just going to throw a couple quick honorable mentions that haven't come up yet. Questionable whether this should be here, but Rocky Horror Picture Show. Come on.
okay,
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Mention Happy Death Day. Anna and the Apocalypse.
okay.
Still
Okay.
haven't seen that.
A horror comedy musical. A
True.
zombie comedy musical.
You know what? Hang on to the rest of your list, Fred.
Okay.
I'm just realizing because one of your honorable mentions might be my number one.
Oh, okay.
I just thought of that.
Okay.
Ooh.
Then I'll stop.
It better be.
All right. My number one, though, and honestly, when we started this list, this is the first movie that I this has to be my number one. 2010's Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Okay, that's my
Honorable
number one.
mention.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
What?
Believe it or not. Yeah,
Okay,
now,
Get what I said
Now.
before with the other film? Watch this one.
Yes. Tucker
Yeah,
and
you
Dale
know what?
versus Evil is an absolute must watch.
Yeah, it's always been my list to see, and I just haven't. I don't know. You know what? Maybe in most soul, as you can tell, my list everything is like 80s, 90s. There's not a whole lot of like modern era. I'm much harder on modern horror comedies by most of them. I don't think even honorable mentions. No modern horror comedy makes the list, even though I've seen.
Well,
some
you
good
should
ones.
give this
But
a
I've heard
shot.
great
I'm not saying it's going to make your list, but I think you'll be
Oh.
pleasantly surprised by it.
Dude.
It is so well done because the comedy part of it, it's not slapsticky. Like it's all like legit horror and just funny circumstances. It just works.
And it's funny, the special feature on the DVD where they have the entire viewpoint from the kids as like look their experience with the rednecks, and all the scenes do seem pretty creepy.
Yes.
That's just it. You have the rednecks in the wood and these college students out camping, but they're looking at it like the rednecks are trying to kill them, and the rednecks are actually there rebuilding a house.
It's their
their
summer
big-
home.
It's their
It's a
summer
great
home.
concept.
It's a
Right.
mansion.
And I'll give you just the one example when the first guy dies. It's because Alan Tudyk, I can't remember which one he plays. Tucker, that's right. He's out he's getting rid of clearings and stuff, and he comes across a beehive and cuts into it with a chainsaw. So the one guy's sneaking up on the house, and all of a sudden Alan Tudyk comes along, just swinging the chainsaw because the bees are all over him. So he runs away, and they're kind of running at the same pace, but suddenly Alan's beside him, right, doing the same thing, and the guy's looking over, what's going on? And all of a sudden impales himself on a stick. And then the coup de grace there, the little bee comes over and lands on his nose, the guy that's dying, and you see him go, oh, he gets it just before he dies.
Yeah.
But this is what the whole film is like,
Yeah.
Until-
I've heard only great things from it. Everyone tells me it's great. I really should make time as opposed to watching the
And
same movies over and over again.
It's one of those things too. They've been trying to do a sequel. Both Alan Tudyk and I can't remember the gentleman's name.
Tyler
that plays
Levine.
Tyler. Yeah, they both go. We can't write anything that is worthy of following this.
Yeah. No,
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
there really is no way to do a logical sequel there at this point.
Oh, here we go. Ballin said his number one is From Dusk Till Dawn.
That movie is so well written. So
Yeah,
George Clooney's best lines in that.
I was contemplating putting it on my list, but it's even the comedy there feels like it's really funny, but it's not. I don't think it's more coming out of the situation. I don't know if it's a real. It's more horror than it is comedy. If anything, it's more of a crime thriller. It's a crime movie for the first half.
Exactly.
But it's a perfect movie. It's brilliant. I wouldn't
Yeah.
argue with anybody who put it number one because it is a fantastic movie.
All right. So James, what's your number one?
My number one, well, in terms of like recent guys, one of my honorable mentions was The Hunt from earlier this year.
Okay.
But my number one is from last year, and it is Ready or Not.
Oh yes.
Oh, it's great. Okay,
Oh,
sorry. There's an exception. There's a great contemporary horror comedy.
It's just hysterical
Damn it.
that like the rich family that is totally inept at they have to track down and kill this bride on their property, and one of the daughters keeps killing their own maids and stuff. Like she's taking us out one
Yeah.
by one. It's the one daughter who is
Mrs. McMurray.
Mrs.
On Letterkenny.
McMurray from Letterkenny.
Scrofano. Emily Scrofano or something. Amanda.
Well, you got the
Scrofano?
last name right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much. And Henry Cherney. It's all fucking fucked. Oh,
I love
it's so good.
the one guy who they give him the crossbow. And he doesn't know how to use a crossbow. He's sitting in the bathroom watching a YouTube video on how to use a crossbow.
Oh yeah.
I that one totally blanked on me. Like it should be on my list.
Yeah.
Honestly, it should be. So
Perfect
that
ending. Perfect ending. Perfect ending. You can't get a better ending than that. You can't write
Yeah.
one.
And Samara
yeah.
Weaving again.
Yeah, from Mayhem. Yeah.
And she's also
And,
in
and babysitter.
She is.
And the babysitter.
Oh,
Uh,
those that and the sequel are on my list to watch.
I feel like
The sequel is
Babysitter, I
terrible.
can't
In my opinion, the sequel is terrible, but the original is a lot of fun.
Nice.
So you'll love the sequel.
I gave the first one a pretty bad rap. I think upon rewatching, I think I might appreciate the babysitter more. But I really gave it a lot of crap when it came out, and I came home and Xander was
I
watching.
wouldn't argue with it. Yeah, it's definitely style over substance, that movie.
And I forgot to mention the standout from Ready or Not. I would say would be Adam Brody, the one son who's just like the drunk who really doesn't want to participate in this and isn't helping anyone.
Yeah.
True.
he's really good at that.
I'm gonna throw out my honorable mentions real quick because Shaun of the Dead was one, Return of the Living Dead, Arachnophobia, and the only one that didn't show up on anybody's list, Little Shop of Horrors.
It's in my honorable mentions.
It's in your honorable mentions?
Ah.
It's in my honorable mention. And I have one other one that's in my honorable mentions from 2014, What We Do in the Shadows.
Ah, I still haven't
Yes.
seen that.
Oh, fantastic! I just
That-
finished
I
the
want to
show.
see the show. I've not watched the show yet, but
It's amazing. It's as
Yeah?
good as the film,
okay.
especially as it
I-
goes on. Season 2 in particular. Oh, it's great. They're actually
I-
shooting season 3 here in Toronto.
I gotta
Right now.
push myself to finally watch the show.
I wanted to. Mark Hamill's in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's great in it. His episode's one of the best ones. It's really good.
I gotta watch
There's
it.
one episode. Don't read spoilers. There's one episode in particular. A lot of the vampires from 90s to contemporary horror show up as the Vampire Council, and I cannot believe who they got. I don't want to tell you who it is, but it's
Okay.
your jaw will drop. Everybody is in it.
I gotta see
You're-
I
this.
think once we get through December, I'm putting it on my list. That's one of the first things I'm gonna watch come the new year. I'll make it a point to do that.
I wanted to make a note. Jason mentioned last week that he watched 5 minutes of Holy Hell. I watched 6.5 minutes of Holy Hell.
What? You guys.
I just wanted to beat the 5-minute limit. And I like the grindhouse effects they threw over the film and the movie. I've seen worse openings to a movie.
Did you see Holy Hell?
You mentioned it to me. I just put it actually right up on my list. It's probably one of the next things I'm going to watch. I have to find it. There's no streaming. It's on iTunes, right? It's the only place.
That
you can
I'm
see
not
it, right?
sure. I know you can buy it on Ryan's website, but I'm not sure. It was at Blood in the Snow. I just didn't know if you saw it there.
I do like Alyssa King a lot, and that's like enough to sell me on watching that movie. But
Oh,
I
she
do
is
like
a
Ryan
blast.
as well. Yeah, no, I do want to see it. I've heard only good things, so I'll probably watch it next week or two. I moved it right up there because you mentioned it.
These two guys haven't even finished it. I can't believe that.
I will. I just wanted to see what Jason saw.
I'll give it another chance.
Yeah.
I want to mention a couple of honorable mentions that none of us have mentioned that should.
Yeah, please fire away.
Okay. The Burbs.
Oh, almost.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tom
Yeah.
Hanks.
Great horror comedy. Really great.
Awesome.
Gremlins. Joe Dante, another one, which is like a no-brainer, and that just almost just made it. But
I hummed and hawed about that one. I really did.
I really tried to argue it, but it just wasn't going to be high enough to even make the top 10, so I left it off. I didn't even make my honorable mentions. That's how and maybe it's just a case I haven't watched it in a long time.
yeah.
That's what it is for some of them for me too.
Yeah.
You know. What else you
And
got?
I got two more. Well, Army of Darkness. We were already talking about that, but Evil Dead 2, which is it's crazy. We did a top 10 horror comedy list, and that generally is everyone's top 5. and it's crazy that it didn't make any of our lists. But Evil Dead
Right?
2 is just, it's
want-
worthy of being up there.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
want a film adaptation of Evil Dead the musical.
Yes.
I
it's
was
so
lucky enough
fantastic.
to see it when a touring production was workshopping in here in Chatham. So me and my son went front row in the splatter zone. We got covered head to toe. It's a phenomenal musical. All the
is.
songs are great in it. I want a film version of that.
That would be
Yes.
cool.
I
That
got
would
one
be-
more. One more. The Monster Squad.
Oh, that almost made it.
Wolfman's got
Yeah.
nards.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was
I-
like number 11. That was number 11 for me.
In that vein, I had one that was an honorable mention I forgot about because it's more comedy than horror, but the horror doesn't end up being real. It's Transylvania 65000.
Okay. That's fun.
Jeff Goldblum.
I have to
Yeah.
watch it again. I have to watch it again.
Is it
I
Gina
know
Davis?
I just
Yeah,
didn't
Gina
respond
Davis
to it
is
when I
in
first
there.
saw it, but
and
Great
Ed
big
Begley Jr.
Okay, that's a hoot. That is true. You're right. It is more comedy than it is horror.
And all the classic monsters end up being just they're human oddities, not actual Frankenstein or vampires or anything.
Yes.
We never got your number one.
Didn't we?
Yeah, no, I said it with you. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That was my number
right.
one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's as soon as you
Actually,
said it.
one-
Claire-
no, I was gonna say so one other good contemporary horror movie that's really good. That I know a lot of people. It's Behind the Mask is really great too.
Oh, yeah, the Jeffrey
Which is
Rise
really
of
fun.
Leslie Vernon?
Leslie Vernon. That's
Yes.
it.
Yeah, which is really really. I mean, just worth it just for Robert England, who's like just the perfect kind of like Loomis knockoff. Like he's just spot on, super funny.
And I love how they turn everything on the documenters.
Oh yeah.
Everything just switches, and then it's a whole different film. And I love that part of it.
Yeah,
You
and it
mentioned
takes
that
itself
a couple
pretty
times.
seriously.
I really should.
Got to give it a watch. Honest, I'm not going to say it,
Okay. All right.
but
You have to. You have to. Yeah.
I'm holding it. If he hasn't watched it in a couple months, I might have to pull it out.
Okay. Yeah, give me a couple months.
All right, Michael, thank you so much for being on here with us tonight
you, sir.
and this
Yes, thank you.
topic.
Oh,
It
thanks
was
for
a
having me.
blast.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of
Yes.
fun. Thanks for having me.
So now we got to think up a new topic and have him back on.
I'm sure we can come up with something.
Yes. Anyway, for another week at the Movie Madhouse, I'm Rob.
I'm James.
I'm Jason.
And
Mike.
there we go. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Toodles.
Take care.
Shut up! It's a madhouse!